are moving ahead with an industry presentation. This is on the topic of new normal in IVD industry, and it has been presented by Mr. Abhinav Thakur, who is the managing director of Accurex. May I please invite Mr. Abhinav on the forum over here. Backend team, can you please share the slide of introduction of Mr. Abhinav over here? Yes, so Abhinav Thakur, he is the managing director of Accurex. He is a graduate of world-renowned University of California, Davis. He has completed his PGDBM from NMIMS University, Mumbai. Due to Abhinav's dedication and passion, the companies have grown 4.2 times in revenue, and team strength has increased from 90 to 200 employees since he has been appointed as the MD of the company. Previously, he has worked with California Diabetes Prevention Program in California, USA. Abhinav is an active member of Association of Indian Medical Devices as the joint coordinator and Association for the Diagnostic Manufacturers of India. He is the secretary. He has spoken at various industry forums such as Bombay Chambers of Commerce and Industry, Voice Healthcare, MIDC Business Conclave, Dun & Bradstreet, and today he is there with ArdorComm New Normal Leadership Summit and Award. Thank you and extend my gratitude, Abhinavji, for helping ArdorComm Media with your support and participation over here. Over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Chandan, for that introduction. It's said that if you're stressed and you're sick, you offer a prayer to God. And for everything else, there's a diagnostic test. Hello, my fellow panelists and the audience today. I'm from a diagnostic company that we manufacture diagnostic reagents for blood testing. And we have been in the market for the last more than 35 years. And I've personally been in the diagnostics industry for about close to 18 years. And I've seen over this period of time that 70% of decisions as per medical research done are based on a diagnostic report. So, for example, the therapy that a patient is given, the time the admission is done for the patient, or the discharge is done for a patient, it depends on the diagnostic report. And the interesting part is that even though it contributes to 70% of the medical decisions that are made, it is only less than 5% of the cost. And it plays such an important role in the entire healthcare delivery segment. And if you look at preventive healthcare, which is less than 2% of the cost of the entire healthcare delivery system, plays such an important role in reducing the cost of healthcare over a period of time. Because when you can prevent a disease, you can stop it from getting into more serious conditions. If there is the best doctor, the best physician, but if he has a wrong diagnostic report, even the best therapy cannot make a difference to the patient. And in many cases, we have seen that even misdiagnosis can be lethal, especially in the case of oncology. If you have a missed diagnostics in the case of oncology, it can turn out lethal as the disease can advance significantly before it starts showing up clinical symptoms. So this is how important diagnostics is. And in today's age, due to COVID pandemic, we have really understood the importance of diagnostics. I'm going to talk about something else, which has become the new normal, as today's theme is the new normal in the healthcare, new normal in the diagnostic industry. Something that has completely changed and come to the forefront is the point of care testing. In our company, we call it test and treat. Test and treat. So you test immediately and you offer the treatment immediately. This is point of care testing, which happens in two areas. One is the professional point of care testing, which happens in the doctor's clinic. And the second is the home testing, like what we have seen during the COVID pandemic, the rapid antigen test for COVID. And especially in a country like India, where 70% of the medical infrastructure is based in the urban areas, and 60% of our population lives in the rural areas, there's a big mismatch. And this is where point of care testing, which is anytime, anywhere testing, mobile testing, can be a big boon, especially for a country like us. And if you look at COVID, it has really shown us the potential of point of care testing. What can happen when testing can go into the homes of people, can go into doctors' clinics and nursing homes and primary health centers. So for example, if you look at companies that have entered into this area, the new startups, they have grown 100 times. So, for example, my lab Discovery Solutions was the first company that came up with the RT-PCR test and the home self-test in India. Their growth for the self-test grew 400% and contributed to 15% of the company's growth. You might say that, yes, this is happening due to COVID, but this shows us what the potential of the market can be in the future when it becomes an acceptable technology. Another Indian company that came up with the point of care testing for this home test was Merrill Diagnostics, 55% growth. This kind of growth has not been seen in the past. And ST Biosensor, which was the first company to come up with a point of care test for professional testing and for home test, has grown 4,361%. You might feel like, yes, this is staggered growth, is meteoric growth too fast due to COVID. I agree, it's due to COVID. But it just shows that what the potential of the market is if we can drive testing towards the doctor's clinics and towards the home. I'm not saying that this is a replacement of lab testing. Labs will continue to be there. RT-PCR is going to continue to be a gold standard, even though you might do an antigen test at home. But you can do the screening at home so that you don't have the chances of infecting other people by the time you get your RT-PCR report. In the same way, you can do a lot of monitoring at home, remote monitoring at home, and go to the lab for health checkups and doing a variety of other tests which are not possible at home. So both these segments are complementary to each other. A lot of times we think that, okay, it's going to be lab or point of care. No, they both are going to work in parallel and they both are going to be there in the future. If you look at a case study in Delhi, we have the Mohalla clinics, which is a great success when it comes to the point of care testing. An article which was released by the Economic Times recently says the testing time for a health checkup has come down from 3 hours from compared to a government hospital versus going to a Mohalla clinic, which is only 30 minutes. So you can see the convenience that a patient gets, and this convenience encourages the patient to go because it reduces the waiting time from hours, 3 hours to just 30 minutes. That's the power and that's the change that the point of care testing can bring into the entire healthcare system. If you look at in terms of the opportunity, Abbott Diagnostics was acquired a point of care device company, Ali. When they acquired this company, they acquired it. There were quite a few questions. Is it the right acquisition? What they did, and by far the market leader was Roche Diagnostics for several decades. Abbott, due to the acquisition of the point of care company Ali and the COVID coming in, has come neck to neck. So Roche was $14 billion in 2020. Abbott also grew to $14 billion in 2020. So you can see the power of how Abbott could advance almost close to Roche, and that's the true potential of what the testing can be done. Because Abbott, as we know, we have seen Abbott ID now is being used at airports for rapid RT-PCR. So it gives the test of an RT-PCR report in 15 minutes. The professional point of care market in the world is grown from 10 billion to 17 billion dollars, which is mainly due to COVID, but also due to FOB, fecal oral blood testing. And overall, it's 25% of the market. So this is something that cannot be ignored anymore. Even the US FDA came up with an enforcement policy for non-invasive monitoring, because in COVID, they wanted to reduce the interaction between the healthcare workers, the healthcare providers, and the patient. And they felt the best way to do this is to non-invasive healthcare monitoring, where you don't need a healthcare worker or healthcare professional come in and monitor the patient. So, for example, blood gas monitoring or glucose monitoring, CGMS. CGMS is continuous glucose monitoring. Glucose is the number one point of care market in the world. And today it's very interesting to note that 35% of the market has become continuous glucose monitoring. That's the power of continuous glucose monitoring, which can have a lot of behavioral changes and help the patient in the end. And especially in countries like India, right, 50% of diabetics are undiagnosed. And in similarly in Africa, 2 out of 3 diabetics don't know they have diabetes. So this is where the screening done through point of care testing can really play a big impact by getting people aware of their diseases or aware of their statuses. Now, coming to the lab business, the new normal, if you see, there's been a lot of activity, a lot of change in the lab business. For example, we have seen the ThyroCare pharmacy deal that happened. 66% of ThyroCare got acquired by pharmacy for 4,546 crores. Metropolis acquired a lab in Chennai High Tech for 636 crores. Dr. Lal acquired a lab in Mumbai, Suburban Diagnostics, for 925 crores. So we can see the new normal is that there is a lot of interest in diagnostics. I remember when I used to visit the labs earlier, I used to always end up going to the basement of the hospital because the labs were always put in the basement of the hospital. They were not looked as a high priority. But due to COVID pandemic, this has all changed. And today the lab is at the forefront. It is what the hospitals are looking at for starting off the treatment. This is a very good thing because, as I mentioned earlier, diagnostics is 70% of the decisions are based on it. And it's been said that the correct diagnostics is 3/4 of the remedy. So with that, I'm glad the new normal has brought diagnostics to the forefront uh, as a driver towards better healthcare delivery. With that, I would be open to any questions later on. And over to you, Mr. Sandan. Thank you.
Great, Abhinav. Yeah, thank you so much. In fact, the innovation and technology partners like you, with the kind of mindset, because day and night you are actually working with the R&D, and how effective your services can be will really be an eye opener. And this forum is actually open for more of such collaboration and partnership opportunities. So definitely, I'm looking forward for such more associations coming forward. If any questions will be arising, especially for Accurex, I'll be forwarding that to you, Abhinav. Thank you so much for joining. With this, let me have the honors to to honor you and felicitate you, a small token of thanks. And appreciation to your efforts, to Mr. Abhinav Thakur, the MD of Accurex. Thank you, Abhinav. Yeah.
Thank you.